Hey y'all, welcome back to Crafting in Florida. This week we're building a Shiplap Fireplace. Let's jump right into it. Alright, starting out we're going to take these S3S white oak boards and rip them down to size for our mantle. The mantle is going to be about 7 inches by 8 inches. Then we're going to plane them out, get some nice fresh faces on either side. We will miter the front facing piece for the mantle. That way it wraps around, looks like one continuous piece of wood. And then we glue it up. You can see right here, we use the glue with the CA glue trick to keep it nice and tight, and some clamps to put it all together. Then we sand it down. Make sure you work through your grits on this. I started with 60 up to 120, 180, and 220 is what I finished out at. Onto the floating shelves, we have ripped down that white oak into about 2.5 inch pieces, and I'm putting a dado on the top and bottom that'll receive this 1/2 inch white oak plywood. Ripping down that white oak plywood to the right size here, and then that'll sit right in those dados that we've put on the face frames here. You can see I used some spacer blocks in there. That helps to keep that plywood from sagging in the middle, and then a couple little taps of a pen nailer just to hold it in place while the glue dries, and a ton of clamps. You can never have enough clamps. For some reason, you buy more and more, and it's still never enough. Now we're gonna rip down that hearth. That hearth is gonna be, again, out of the white oak, so that it's all gonna match. We're gonna make it wrap around the fireplace, so I'm adding a few extra pieces to the end of that large, about 13 inch piece of white oak. Get all that glued up, let it sit, and then we will put a little face frame around that as well to make it look just a little bit thicker. With that face frame on there, you can see I'm going to add a round over to the edge. Nice little 1/8 inch round over, just softens it up a little bit. I imagine they're going to be sitting on this at times, so you don't want that sharp edge on your legs. A couple of bug holes in there. If you saw this short that I did about a week or two ago of how we do it, it's essentially you're going to fill the hole with some glue, take some sawdust from that same type of wood. I do a ton of white oak work, so I've always got white oak sawdust laying around. I put it in a cup there, you see. Mix it all up and just sand it smooth. Makes those bug holes disappear. It's a great little trick. Add a little water to the top, make all that grain stand up, and then more sanding. Because if you want to be a woodworker, get used to having your hand vibrate for hours and hours and hours, because that's sanding all the time. But when you get it all finished like that, it looks pretty slick. When we frame it, you see we just go to simple 2x4 framing. Make sure that there's space for the fireplace to sit. Chop up some of that shiplap. Then the nailing process is pretty simple on the shiplap. Get it all installed there. Look at there, that's most of it done. Get the hearth in, finish the install, a little frame around the side. You can see that mantle and that hearth turned out pretty nice. A couple of floating shelves. Customer decorates it. Boom. There you go. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. See y'all next week.